How's it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and today we're doing another versus video. This one is 300 Pigmen versus 300 Crocodogs times 2. Now, what does times 2 mean? Well, it means that we're actually going to see how 300 pigs can hold up against 2 consecutive waves of Crocodogs, 300 each. So, obviously, you can't naturally have pigs on water, but through the magic of the console in Don't Starve, we're able to spawn down pigs on the water, and they're able to run around and engage the Crocodogs just fine. Now, one of the things I know, I do a lot of the matchups with Pigmen. One of the serious difficulties with Pigmen is the fact that their biggest strength lies in their ability to run away, and when you get them into really close quarters combat like this, where they really can't run anywhere, it puts them at a substantial disadvantage versus mobs that are more tanky and are more likely to stay in place and fight. But overall, it was pretty interesting. As you can see, there are some sharks that joined the battle, obviously lured in by the spoils of the fight, but first one is over with, and as you can see, we hardly incurred any casualties at all in our pig population. Pretty strong yet. So overall, it's like, wow. I'm just not sure if if it's because they're on water that they're this good, or if they're usually that good. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot else to really say about the situation, I guess. I'm kind of at a loss for words here. It would be nice if there wasn't quite as much text on the screen, but I did bump it up from 200. I was usually doing 200, and I tried it with 300, and 300 didn't break the game, so I figured I'll sacrifice a bit of a frame rate there for a bump in numbers, 33% increase. One of the things that I did kind of notice is that the pigmen were actually turning into werepigs from eating so much of the spoils off of the ocean. So every time they killed a crocodile, you know, it's going to drop some monster meat. And so it ends up turning pigmen into werepigs, which means then you got a little bit of friendly fire going on as they attack each other. So despite all that, and you know, in spite of that, we still had a pretty resounding victory here with the Pigmen. So even 2 waves of Crocodogs couldn't put too much of a dent in their effectiveness, could it? But here you get to see the werepigs, and that's primarily the extent of this. I was just curious to see if the amount of werepigs, or the amount of pigmen we would lose to werepigs, would be significant, and by and large it wasn't. Probably lost another 10% of them, but it was a bit difficult to tell, obviously, because some of them converted while there was a whole bunch of text on the screen and you really can't see anything, and they do that. There was another point I was going to make about this. Oh yeah, that's right. When I was first trying this out, for some reason, it caused a crash. So I wasn't sure I was actually going to be able to pull it off, because the first time, due to the pigmen running around on the ocean, I imagine, they did something that the game was not able to handle, and so it just crashed me out of it. But that didn't happen in this one, and the funny thing was that this test was much larger than the previous one where it had crashed. Like, I think the previous test was composed of about 10 pigmen. But then again, that was the thing. That test actually was pigmen versus bottlenose dolphins, and I hadn't tried that since. So it might have been more of an issue with the bottlenose dolphins than the pigmens being on the ocean. I mean, I just assumed it because they're not supposed to be on there, so I figured that would be more likely to be an unhandled... Well, I can't speak. That would be more likely to be an unhandled exception, but maybe it is still the bottlenose dolphins, because that update is still in beta for Don't Starve, and I guess we can expect bugs like that from time to time. If that was what caused it, I didn't actually check the log for the game to see what caused the crash. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.